My fiancé laughed. It's cute how you become envious when I see my ex. I guess you're not ready to be a spouse yet. You're just a practice. I didn't say anything. The next day, her things were packed up and sent to her ex's house. Hey, Reddit. I'm 32 years old and a man. I've been conducting commercial constructions in Houston for 6 years. Sienna, my fiancée, is 31 years old, female, and works in pharmaceutical sales. She has been living with me for 3 years. Not rented, not on paper, simply there, which was important later. Started 6 weeks ago. Tuesday night around 10 o'clock. I was half watching a documentary about deep-sea animals on the couch. I catch her when she gets home from happy hour. Cologne for males. Costs $180 and lasts for hours. It's woody and expensive. Not mine. I only wear deodorant. In the second week, her phone habit changed completely. She used to leave her iPhone face up all the time. Kitchen counter, nightstand, coffee table. Then, all of a sudden, face down, always on Do Not Disturb. Also changed her password. It used to be 0815 the day she was born. I noticed because she dropped it one morning and had to attempt 3 times to get in with the new code. Small things that build up. After that, the shower began. Sienna took a shower every morning for 3 years. 6:45 a.m. every day. She takes a shower as soon as she gets home. She goes straight to the bathroom every time she gets home late, before taking off her shoes, patting Murphy, or saying hello. At least 15 minutes. I'm not crazy. I pay attention. There is a distinction. In the second week, I made a spreadsheet. For a living, you keep track of concrete pours and equipment schedules. You may keep an eye on a cheating fiancé. Wrote down every late night, every supper with Kendra, and every time she came home smelling bad. Timestamps, notes, and patterns showed up quickly. She was always visiting him on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On weekends, when I had to do site inspections, she would suddenly have things to do that took 4 hours. I was meant to work in Katy all day on a Saturday. I got home early because the inspector called off. Her car was gone. She didn't come back till 6 p.m. She said she had been at Target and the grocery store all day. That night, I looked at the Target receipt she left on the counter. The timestamp is 5:34 p.m. Shopping for 30 minutes doesn't take 4 hours. The other 3.5 hours went somewhere else. I began to look at the miles on her Lexus. She said that one Thursday she went to Kendra's house in Sugarland for dinner. Kendra's residence is 18 miles from ours. Look at the odometer before she left and after she got back. Sienna's car had 67 more kilometers on it. The most you can go is 36 miles to Sugarland and back. Where did the extra 31 go? The third week. I did something I'm not proud of, but I won't say I'm sorry either. She left her MacBook on while she took a bath. The door to the bathroom is closed. There is music playing. The same Apple ID as her phone. Messages sync automatically unless you turn it off. She hadn't turned it off. Found a thread with the name Dr. Hammond. Important. There was no picture of the contact. No face. Name not saved correctly. There was no way the texts were about drug orders. Miss what we had. I can't quit thinking about last weekend. When will you be free again? She is sleeping. I wish you were here instead. That final one came from her. 1:47 a.m. on a Saturday. I was only 2 feet away in bed. I thought she was looking at Instagram. I took 43 pictures of the screen. Every communication from the last 4 months. Some of them are from when we were looking for places to have our wedding. Messages I sent while she sat across from me at supper and pretended to check her work emails. One message made me stop in my tracks. I can't wait for this to be over so we can be together for real. He said, soon. Just play it cool until after the wedding. Then we'll get the money. What money? They were gonna marry me, wait 6 months or a year, get a divorce and split up the money. Texas is a state where property is shared. I owned my house outright before we met, so it might be up for grabs depending on how they played it. A long con with an open bar and a white dress. I kept reading and saw a message from 3 weeks ago in which he gave me his address. Unit 12, 1847 Oak Bend Trail. She sent me a heart emoji and said she was on her way. That one I preserved too. Looked at Google Maps. The distance from our house to 1847 Oak Bend Trail is 15.4 kilometers. One-way round journey with a stop in Sugarland for cover. The calculations for the miles worked out flawlessly. I saved them all to a password-protected folder on my laptop. She erased her MacBook's search history. She shut the laptop just the way she had left it. The same angle. The same apps are in the dock. At that point, I was already gone. She didn't know it yet. The next 3 weeks were all about gathering information. I began to pay considerably closer attention to patterns. What night she said she was with her friend Kendra from work and what time she got home. I checked everything against Kendra's Facebook posts. Kendra was very active on social media, as it turned out. Sienna stated they were at dinner for half the night, while Kendra was at home with her kids. Photos with a timestamp of 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Not at any restaurant, that's for sure. The lies were clumsy. That was the thing that bothered me the most. She wasn't even making an effort. She thought I was either too stupid or too trusting to put the pieces together. Or maybe she just didn't care anymore. Maybe she had already mentally checked out and was just going through the motions till the wedding. I got my response either way. So there I was on Thursday night watching her on TV and going over my plan to get out one more time. I already knew she was unfaithful. Had the proof locked up, the timeline written down, and the plan drawn out. I simply needed one more thing before I did it. How was dinner with Kendra? I asked. A query that is easygoing, even normal. Earlier, she had texted to say she was going to get sushi with a friend from work. The same falsehood she had told at least 8 times in the last month. She didn't look away from her phone. Okay, where did you go? That place on Westheimer near the Whole Foods store. The lies came out clear as glass. No hesitancy, no tell. She had been practicing this for months. Maybe even longer than I thought. Then I went for the throat. Strange, though. Kendra wrote something around an hour ago. She was at home preparing costumes for Halloween with her girls. I posted about 6 pictures, all with timestamps. Looked like a home. I saw her face in the TV. Caught that tiny freeze the moment before her brain went into damage control. Her thumb stopped moving. Her shoulders got a little stiff. When people are discovered lying, they usually try to make explanations, explain, pretend they meant a different Kendra, or say they got the days mixed up. Sienna didn't. She looked at me slowly and on purpose with an expression I'd never seen before. It was cold, almost funny, like a mask had come off and I was finally seeing what was underlying. She said, "I wasn't with Kendra." It got really silent in the room. Murphy raised his head from his dog bed because he could feel the change in energy. "Who were you with?" She smiled. Not a pretty smile. The kind of smile folks give when they want you to see how much they enjoy twisting the knife. "My ex, Garrett." She said it like she was reading a list of things to buy. "We've been getting back together and getting back what we should never have lost." I didn't say anything. I just gazed at her. "What?" She turned her head to the side and looked at me like I was something under a microscope. "Are you going to cry? Have a fit? Get angry and go like a small boy?" "Nothing yet." She laughed. That rich female laugh that made me feel bad for waiters and customer service personnel. "Oh my God. This is sad. Are you really going to sit there?" Not a large, dramatic reaction. I took a sip of my water, put it down carefully on the coaster, and looked her right in the eyes. She was waiting for something to happen. Crying, getting mad, begging, things she'd presumably thought about how to respond to in her brain. The rules that everyone observes when they get caught. I told them to keep going. "I hear you." That confused her. She wanted fireworks. She received ice instead. Okay. She leaned forward, feeling better now. Really enjoying her performance. "Do you want the truth? Here it is. You aren't cut out to be a husband. You were never good enough to be a husband. You are a project manager who thinks he is getting somewhere. You drive a truck. Half the time you smell like sawdust. You get concrete dust on your boots when you go home." I said that I was a project manager who made $140,000 a year and owned his house free and clear, with no mortgage. Her face twitched. That wasn't part of her script. "Whatever. The point is that your practice is only a placeholder. Someone to keep the bed warm until somebody true comes along. And you know what it did, Garrett? Yes, Garrett. He gives advice on money. He wears a suit to work. He knows how to meet people at charity events without feeling awkward. He has a future ahead of him. What do you have? Plans and dirt under your nails? I nodded slowly. That's interesting. How long does it matter? Please humor me. She shrugged her shoulders. For months. We ran into each other at that charity event in River Oaks, the one you didn't want to go to since you had to get up early to pour concrete. Do you remember? You made me go by myself. The fundraising for the children's hospital. That one, yes. We talked at the bar. I remembered why we got along so well in college. We started getting together for coffee, then lunch, and then other things. She laughed once more. And to be honest, it was quite easy. You never thought anything was wrong. If I told you I was with Kendra, you'd believe me like a dog. So easy to trust. I understand. That's all I have to say. I understand. She was angry now and stood up. God, you're still dull. You can't even fight back the right way. This is why Garrett and I get along so well. He has a lot of passion. He takes what he needs. You just go along with things. I also stood up. Looked down at her. I've got 4 on her. Are you done? What? Do you have anything further to say? Have you practiced any other speeches? Because I have stuff to accomplish tomorrow. And if you're done acting, I want to sleep. In approximately 3 seconds, her face shifted from happy to bewildered to angry. Are you performing? You act like I just told you I purchased the incorrect brand of coffee when I tell you I've been sleeping with my ex for 4 months. Okay. Thank you for being honest. Good night. I took my pillow off the couch. Where are you headed? To go to bed. You can have the room. I'll sit on the couch. That's all. You're not even going to stand up for me? I paused, turned around, and looked at her again. Do I have to fight for you? Sienna? You simply informed me I'm practice. That you've been running around behind my back for 3 months. That I smell like sawdust and have no future. And you expect me to fight for that? Nah, I'm okay. Get some sleep. As I lay down on the couch, she stood there sputtering. I could feel her looking at me, waiting for the explosion that wasn't going to happen. I'm becoming angry with you for not saying anything. The words stayed in the air. I let them sit there. I didn't stand up for myself. They didn't fight. She needed a response. That's what this whole show was all about. Bait. She wanted me to scream, beg, and fall apart so she could feel strong and tell herself she was the one ending things and in charge of the story. I didn't give her anything. You give them the emotional response they want, and that's all they need to hurt you. They get to be the bad guy. They can tell everyone how wild you were. They can explain whatever they did because of how he reacted. She huffed because I wouldn't play along. Whatever. She got up and picked up her phone. I'm going to sleep. Let me know when you're ready to be a man about this. She walked to the bedroom and slammed the door so hard that the framed Astros jersey on the wall shook. I just sat there with my phone and controller in my hands. Murphy came up and rested his head on my knee. She had said it and it was on record. I just needed that. I took my pillow, lay down on the couch, and spent the night planning and going over logistics instead of sleeping. I had the whole plan ready by 4:30 a.m. Not the kind of emotional revenge dream where you shout and break stuff and then feel worse. The cold type, the surgical kind, the sort where you get rid of someone so quickly that they don't even know what occurred until it's too late. It was 6:30 when her alarm went off. I could hear her moving around in the bedroom, the shower running, the hair dryer, and the closet doors opening and closing. It was all normal, like nothing had occurred. like she hadn't just ruined 3 years of her life in one conversation. She walked out ready for work, with a navy suit, heels, makeup, and straight hair. She took her purse off the kitchen counter, looked in the hallway mirror, and adjusted her engagement ring. I had spent $4,200 on it after she casually said she loved emerald cuts while we were walking by a jewelry store. Then she walked straight past me as if I were a piece of furniture. Not a word. They didn't even look at each other. The silent treatment is a classic way to manipulate someone. Make me feel bad for catching her. Make me run after her. Make me say I'm sorry for having the nerve to detect her affair. The door in front opened and closed. Her heels made a clicking sound when they hit the ground. I waited for 5 minutes. There was enough time for her to go to her Lexus and drive halfway to work. After that, I went to work. First, called Dante and my foreman. Hey, I need the day off. Emergency with the family. Are you okay? Will be. Take care of the job at Memorial City. Finished. If you need anything, call. Put it down. Next call. U-Haul is on I-10. Delivered boxes to my truck in 20 minutes. She started in the bathroom and swept everything off her counter into box 1. Serums, face creams, makeup palettes, and hair products. That jade roller she got after seeing it on TikTok. The $80 shampoo she ordered just for her. Everything. Moved to the closet. The colors on her side were in order. I put it in the same way. Kept things tidy. Folded the pricey items. Put each pair of shoes in its own bag. I noticed a moleskin notepad I'd never seen before in the drawer of her nightstand. An inexpensive prepaid phone, a burner, was under it. I turned it on. 4 months of texts to G verifying everything I'd already seen on the MacBook, as well as hotel confirmations sent to this number. Attached are the receipts. She had done a good job of covering her tracks. Not comprehensive enough, though. Opened the notebook. Notes for arranging the wedding, seating charts, and guest lists. There was nothing strange until page 43. A list of positives and cons that compares me to Garrett. 2 columns. My column included things like a steady income and a nice property, and it didn't raise questions. Garrett's column was about love, chemistry, and the one who got away. She'd written small hearts around his name like a teenage girl with a crush while wearing my ring. I took pictures of every page and put them in the evidence folder. I put the notebook and the burner phone right on top of the box. Let Evelyn find those first. A total of 30 boxes. 3 years of being engaged. Everything was professionally packed, labeled, and put in order. Before sealing each package, I snapped pictures of what was inside. It's important to keep records. It's always been like way in my line of work. No one could allege that I tossed her things away or broke anything. I then took my laptop and accomplished the most crucial thing. I searched for Same-Day Courier Houston on Google. Good job, Roi. Completed the form. Pick up my address. The address for delivery is 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. Contact for delivery. Sienna's cell. 30 boxes with special instructions. Be careful with it. Use a picture to confirm delivery. The total is $340. Sent in. After that, I ordered pizza. Domino's. People who adore meat a lot. More cheese. Jalapenos. The sort she always remarked was excessively fatty and made me feel awful for ordering. 45 minutes later, the doorbell rang. 2 dudes in Royal. They made 5 trips to load everything. Businesslike. Fast. They went away. After that, I went back inside. There was no noise in the home. Really quiet. No lavender diffuser humming. Her Bluetooth speaker won't play music. Just calm. Around 5:45 p.m., I checked the roadie tracker. Status sent. Location: 1847 Oak Bend Trail, Unit 12. A photo shows that 30 crates are piled neatly on a covered patio. The front door is partially open in the frame. Someone is already taking delivery. At the time, I didn't know that Garrett wasn't living by himself. He lived with a girlfriend named Evelyn. Been with her for 2 years. So Sienna's boxes didn't magically show up at her ex's house. They came to the place where he lived with his girlfriend of 2 years. There were 30 boxes with love letters, Hotel receipts with Garrett's name on the reservation, a burner phone with 4 months' worth of messages, a wedding binder with Garrett's name circled on the guest list, and notes in Sienna's handwriting about what kind of scotch he liked and where to sit him at the reception. Murphy was outside in the yard. I welcomed him in, gave him some snacks, and we watched the game together. The Astros play the Rangers. My place is peaceful and quiet. Murphy is my dog. I got him from the Houston SPCA immediately after I bought my house. Put my name on it. There are vet costs on my card from 4 years ago. I have adoption papers in my email. This becomes really important. My phone started ringing a lot at 7:30 p.m. Sienna called, but you didn't answer. Messages on the phone. Messages coming in one after the other. Where is everything? Pick up the phone. This is crazy. You can't just steal all I own. I'm calling the cops. You're crazy. Where did you put my things? I didn't say anything. I just saved everything. Screenshots and timestamps. Then, at about 8:15 p.m., I heard a car pull into the driveway. Fast door slamming hard, and heels on concrete moving quickly. She had a key. I had forgotten about that. The door to the front opened quickly. Sienna burst in, looking crazy. Her mascara was running down her cheeks, and her hair was partly down from her ponytail. The professional look of a pharmaceutical sales agent was gone. She looked like she'd been crying for a long time. "Where is everything?" she yelled. "What did you do?" I was sitting on the couch with Murphy, remote in hand, and didn't get up. "Your things were delivered professionally this afternoon. 30 boxes, full insurance, and photos to prove they got there safely." "Where were they delivered?" "Unit 12, 1847 Oak Bend Trail." Her face turned white. "You sent my things to Garrett's. You stated you were getting back together. I thought you would want your belongings close." She came over to him, took his leash from the hook by the door where it normally hung, and fastened it to his collar before I could even think about what was going on. Murphy looked bewildered, and his tail was half wagging because he had known her for 3 years and didn't know what was going on. She took his travel crate out of the hallway closet and began toward the door, pulling Murphy along with her. "Let go of the leash." She kept pulling Murphy toward the front entrance. He was fighting back now, gazing back at me in confusion. Dogs can tell when anything is amiss. I rose up, moved between her and the door, and didn't touch her. I just stood there, blocking the door. "Let go of the leash. I also own him. For 3 years, I've been taking care of him. When you're at work, I take him for walks. He put my name on it. My card has vet expenses on it. My name is on the SPCA adoption papers. He stays." She tried to get around me. I stayed still. She pulled hard on Murphy's leash to attempt to get him to the door. He whined, "Sienna, get out of my way. Let go of the dog." She stepped back while still pulling. Murphy was really getting into it now. All 4 of her paws were pressed against the floor, refusing to go with her. She took another step back toward the stairs that led down to the front door. 3 stairs down to the landing. Then she lost her balance. I saw it happen in slow motion. Her heel got stuck on the edge of the top step. She fell back, arms flailing, trying to clutch something. As she fell, the leash flew out of her hand. She fell down 3 steps. Just 3, not the whole flight. She landed on her back with a thump on the landing. I never touched her, not once. Didn't reach out, didn't grab. The cameras caught everything. For a moment, she lay there, breathing heavily. After that, she sat up, looked at me, and her face transformed completely. "He shoved me." She spoke loudly and clearly, as if she were putting on a show for an audience that wasn't there. "You pushed me down the steps." I didn't say anything. I simply looked at her. She took the gray sweater that had been hanging over the railing for weeks and put it on her forehead. There was no blood, although there might have been a minor bump where she impacted the wall on the way down. But she was pressing the hoodie against her head like she was attempting to stop bleeding from her arteries, and she looked like she was in a lot of agony. She said, "You're going to jail for this. Assault and domestic violence. You're finished." She took out her phone, called 911, and put it on speaker so I could hear everything. 911. "What is your emergency? My fiancé just pushed me down the stairs." My head is bleeding. Please help me. This is abuse in the home. Please send someone. She told them where to go. The whole time, she was pushing the sweater against her head as if it were a battlefield triage. Tears are flowing now, and my voice is shaking just so. After she hung up, she looked at me like she had just won the whole game. I took out my phone and dialed 911. Hey, there was an accident at my house. A woman slid down some steps. She might have struck her head. I'd like to call an ambulance to look at her. Sienna's face changed. She didn't think I would call for help either. You didn't think I would sound calm. What are you up to? She made a hissing sound. Making sure you get checked out. Injuries to the head can be very bad. She kept performing as we waited. Began to breathe heavily, put her palm on her chest, and moaned softly. Then, when she saw that I wasn't freaking out, rushing around, or begging, something changed. A quick overview of how the house is set up. 2 years ago, I became anxious about security after several tools were stolen from one of my job sites. The insurance adjuster stated my prices would go down if I had cameras. I put in a ring system, a doorbell camera, 2 cameras within the living room and kitchen, and 1 in the garage. The camera in the living room could see well down the stairs to the foyer. After they were put in, I never thought about them again. They basically ran in the background and uploaded to the cloud. Recordings that are triggered by motion are kept for 30 days. I forgot I had peace of mind until I needed it. And that's what she didn't think of. Her eyes lost their concentration. She started to breathe quickly and shallowly. And then she just fell apart. Slid down the wall with her eyes closed, limp, and panicked. Alternatively, the show was growing worse because the first act wasn't receiving the response she wanted. No matter what, she was on the ground now, which made it look like she had passed out. I stood at the top of the steps and watched from a distance. I didn't go up to her or touch her. Murphy was next to me, whining and looking lost. The police were the first to arrive. 2 cops. They came in tight with their hands close to their belts. Call from home. They take those seriously. They also get training. 1 cop went right to Sienna, who had miraculously woken up and was now gently crying while still putting the hoodie to her fully unharmed forehead. The other cop came up to me. Sir, I need you to come outside with me. Sure. But first, I have to tell you something. I have 2 indoor cameras, a ring system, and cameras inside. Everything that transpired in this house tonight, even her falling down while trying to take my dog, is saved in the cloud. The officer's face shifted a little. You have video. The living room camera sees the stairs. Got it all. I can get it on my phone right now. They made us go our separate ways. The usual way to do things. A few minutes later, EMTs showed up. They looked at Sienna's head quite carefully. No cuts. No signs of a concussion. The pupils are the same size and react the same way. Little bump. Probably wouldn't even hurt. She said no to a ride to the hospital. The officers stood close together outside for a minute and talked quietly. Then the older one came back to me. You stated you had video. Can we look at it? I accessed the Ring app on my phone and found the clip from the living room camera that was made 20 minutes earlier. Gave it to them. The video was really clear. She grabbed the dog's leash and clipped it on. I blocked the entrance, and she stepped back and pulled on the leash. Her heel got stuck on the step, and she fell down 3 stairs all by herself. There was no contact at all. I never touched her with my hands. Then she sat up and said right away, "He pushed me." The officer watched it again and then showed it to his partner. They showed the fall 3 times again. I opened the SPCA adoption forms in my inbox. The microchip registration from home again has my name and address on it. I put 4 years' worth of vet costs from Banfield Pet Hospital on my credit card. Screenshots following screenshots. She doesn't reside here. She was a visitor. There is no lease, no utilities, and no deed. My lawyer for real estate said she doesn't have a legal right to live there. I sent all of her things to her this afternoon by a professional courier. They returned to Sienna. I couldn't hear all they said, but I could see her face through the window. Saw it move from sad victim to puzzled to angry to afraid in about 30 seconds. One of the cops came back to me. Sir, we won't be bringing any charges against you. The video makes it evident that she fell on her own. There was no touch. We told her that it is against the law in Texas to file a fake police complaint and that trying to seize your registered property, like the dog, could get her in trouble. I nodded. Thank you. We are going to tell her to leave the building. Would you like us to stay while she gets the last of her things? This afternoon, everything of hers was sent to a different address. 30 boxes. There is nothing left for her here. The officers led Sienna out. There were no cuffs, but she was strongly told to leave right away and not come back until the police are there. She paused at the door, looked at me with utter contempt, her hair a mess, her makeup smeared, and the hoodie still in her hand. I turned around and took her engagement ring out of my pocket. I saw it on the landing after she fell. When she hit the floor, it must have slipped off. She picked it up as the cops were talking to her outside. I raised it up so she could see it. The emerald cut sparkles in the porch light. I didn't say anything dramatic. I just put it back in my pocket. Her face fell apart. We're done, I said. The officers took her to her car. I stood in the doorway and watched her leave. Waited until her tail lights went out of sight around the bend. I then locked the door and closed it. Chain and deadbolt. Murphy ran up with his tail wagging now that the stress was gone. I scratched the back of his ears. Good boy. You're not going anywhere, buddy. There was no noise in the home. Finally, it's silent. The backlash happened quickly, but I remained out of most of it. I heard from acquaintances that Garrett's girlfriend, Evelyn, had gone through all 30 boxes that afternoon, found the love letters, handmade ones from Sienna that talked about their future together, found the hotel receipts with Garrett's name on them for rooms booked on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. They found the burner phone with 4 months' worth of messages about getting back together. That night, their 2-year relationship came to an end. It looks that Evelyn shared everything on Facebook before blocking Garrett. Screenshots of the communications, pictures of the receipts, a full history of... I opened the SPCA adoption forms in my inbox. The microchip registration from Home Again has my name and address on it. I put 4 years' worth of vet costs from Banfield Pet Hospital on my credit card. Screenshots following screenshots. She doesn't reside here. She was a visitor. There is no lease, no utilities, and no deed. My lawyer for real estate said she doesn't have a legal right to live there. I sent all of her things to her this afternoon by a professional courier. They returned to Sienna. I couldn't hear all they said, but I could see her face through the window. Saw it move from sad victim to puzzled to angry to afraid in about 30 seconds. One of the cops came back to me. Sir, we won't be bringing any charges against you. The video makes it evident that she fell on her own. There was no touch. We told her that it is against the law in Texas to file a fake police complaint and that trying to seize your registered property, like the dog, could get her in trouble. I nodded. Thank you. We are going to tell her to leave the building. Would you like us to stay while she gets the last of her things? This afternoon, everything of hers was sent to a different address. 30 boxes. There is nothing left for her here. The officers led Sienna out. There were no cuffs, but she was strongly told to leave right away and not come back until the police are there. She paused at the door, looked at me with utter contempt, her hair a mess, her makeup smeared, and the hoodie still in her hand. I turned around and took her engagement ring out of my pocket. I saw it on the landing after she fell. When she hit the floor, it must have slipped off. She picked it up as the cops were talking to her outside. I raised it up so she could see it. The emerald cut sparkles in the porch light. I didn't say anything dramatic. I just put it back in my pocket. Her face fell apart. We're done, I said. The officers took her to her car. I stood in the doorway and watched her leave. Waited until her tail lights went out of sight around the bend. I then locked the door and closed it. Chain and deadbolt. Murphy ran up with his tail wagging now that the stress was gone. I scratched the back of his ears. Good boy. You're not going anywhere, buddy. There was no noise in the home. Finally, it's silent. The backlash happened quickly, but I remained out of most of it. I heard from acquaintances that Garrett's girlfriend, Evelyn, had gone through all 30 boxes that afternoon, found the love letters, handmade ones from Sienna that talked about their future together, Found the hotel receipts with Garrett's name on them for rooms booked on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. They found the burner phone with 4 months' worth of messages about getting back together. That night, their 2-year relationship came to an end. It looks that Evelyn shared everything on Facebook before blocking Garrett. Screenshots of the communications, pictures of the receipts, a full history of the affair, and tags for both of them. Before either of them could do any harm, everyone in their social circle saw it. Friends of both sides began to take sides. Most of them chose Evelyn. Evelyn had called Garrett and screamed at him while he was still at work. When he got home, he saw that his things were being put in boxes. Everyone in the neighborhood heard everything. Someone in the building called the apartment office to complain about the noise. But this is where it gets fascinating. Garrett freaked out, tried to fix matters, and told Sienna they needed to cool things off till everything blew over. They said it was too hot right now and they should stay out of the way for a few months. Sienna didn't take it well that the cops had just publicly shamed her and taken her out of my house after she tried to fake an assault. She texted him all the time, called him at all hours, and even showed up at his apartment complex. Garrett's answer. He changed the locks, banned her number, and directed the front desk not to let her up. The person she had planned to divorce her for, the one she had named her real future, merely disappeared when things got tough. Through common friends, I learned that Garrett and Evelyn got back together about a month later. Evelyn took him back. Please don't ask me why. Soon after, they all moved to Austin, a new beginning away from the chaos. Katie took Sienna back to her mom's place. She lost her flat deposit because she couldn't pay for it on her own. Had to tell her whole family why her engagement ended and why 30 boxes of her things were sent to her affair partner's residence. I didn't file any litigation. There was no necessity. The natural consequences were bad enough. 2 weeks later, I sold the engagement ring. The Heights jeweler paid me $2,800 for it. I paid less than what it was worth to me sitting in a drawer. Used the money to buy a new barbecue for the backyard. Murphy said yes. The last time I talked to the friend group, she was working at a department store in the Galleria. Entry-level job with a commission, beginning afresh at 31 with a gap in her resume. She couldn't be honest about it. 6 months of tranquility. Murphy and I got into a routine. Runs in the morning before work, walks in the evening around the neighborhood, and weekends at the dog park. I started a new project at work. There is a 12-story mixed-use structure in the city center. Good money and a good way to pass the time. Kept me busy enough that I didn't think about her too much. 3 days after she went, I changed the locks. The garage got a new security code. Changed the passwords in the Ring app. Normal security procedures after a breakup. The locksmith who came out had certainly done this before. Did not ask a question. Just did what I had to do. Then one Saturday afternoon, the doorbell rang. First, I looked at the Ring app. It's a habit now after all that happened. Sienna was standing on my porch looking gruff and thinner than previously. Her hair was in a haphazard ponytail instead of the flawless blowout she used to get. She had dark circles under her eyes. No makeup on, which is very different from the well-groomed woman who used to reside here. I thought about not answering, but I was too curious. I opened the door, but I didn't go outside or ask her to come in. Murphy was behind me, and this time his tail wasn't wagging. Dogs have good memories. Hey, she said in a quiet voice. What can we talk about? I simply wanted to say sorry for everything. I made a lot of mistakes.